Welcome to Ports and Palaces podcast. It is May 27th, and today we'll be giving you all the details about Disneyland's 70th anniversary.
Good morning. Welcome back. We took a little bit of a May hiatus. We had some pretty big life things happen. We had some family in town. Anyone that has kids knows that May is just a month.
End of the year for schools, yeah. We both have new jobs.
Yeah. So a little bit of changing, and then those new jobs kind of changed up travel for this year. And so that's been a little chaotic. I got to flex my travel muscles because we're going out of town in at this point, less than a month. So trying to get all that dining booked, all the things booked. We're doing 3 Disney World stays and a cruise coming up in July. And so all of those booking windows had opened past when or before we booked. And so trying to get all the reservations we wanted so quickly, I flexed those travel agent muscles. We got everything but one thing, and that's like a super popular thing. So I was proud of myself. But we're back. We've got lots of fun things for the next few weeks. We're going to be going over Disneyland's 70th. We're going to be going over Epic Universe. Now that is in full swing, we're going to have an exclusive interview with someone who has done a private event in Epcot. We're going to talk about that and some other things. We've got some cool interviews coming up, some trip reports. It's going to be a good summer. But today is all about Disneyland's 70th anniversary. This officially kicked off on Friday, May 16th. A few extra things opened back up last Friday, May 23rd. And then there's actually a few more things we'll talk about that are actually going to be opening up towards the end of July, like end of July. So we're going to bring you all the coverage and activities to check out. So this is a great one-stop shop. It'll have everything coming to you. This event will be continuing until next summer, as in summer of 2026. So you'll have lots of times to check it out. Activities will pause for Halloween and Christmas. So just know if you're going around August at this point, end of August through early January, some of these activities will not be there. They're going to bring it all down for Halloween and Christmas. So I had some clients that wanted to book to do Halloween and do the 70th. And I was like, I don't know how much of the 70th will be going. Yeah, so we had to change their trip up a little bit. But then it'll all come back January and then through summer of 2026. And another question I've been asked by clients is, do they think Pixar Fest will not come back because of this event or Season of the Force, things like that? I'm not sure. We'll just kind of stand by. 2026 Disneyland calendar has not come out yet. If they're extending through summer, it would kind of make sense if they're not going to do these other events. But these other events are very popular, so I will have to see. Speaking of 2026, just like I said, Disneyland has not opened for booking yet, but Disney World and Universal did. Adventures by Disney did. So that was part of why we were very busy last month. Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party opened up for tickets. We're still waiting on Oogie Boogie Bash, but a lot of things opened up. So if you're looking to book a trip, we'd love to help you here at Ports and Palaces Vacations. And with that, let's get started with the Disneyland 70th anniversary.
To give you a little bit of an outline, we are going to start with what we call the crowd makers at each park. These will be entertainment options that only happen once or twice each day and will gather large crowds. To keep on track, we will do one park at a time.
After that, we're going to talk about rides and characters in general, and then we're going to let you know what park they're located in. We'll wrap this up with some food and other interactive activities.
So let's start with Disneyland. Pardon my pronunciation of this. Celebrate Happy Cavalcade. It's very short, so you may not know these characters, but Duffy and Shelly May, aren't those Chinese?
The little bears, from Tokyo and Shanghai.
That's right.
Don't quite understand the hype around them, but this is a big deal that they're here. This is the first time I've seen them at a domestic park before. This, like Chad said, this is very short. It's just, they can't even call it a parade because it's got I think the Princess Float. Yeah. Shelly and Duffy May are on little motorized.
Well, the one we saw, they were just walking.
Yeah.
They were just walking down the road.
And then there's a Princess Float, but this isn't a huge parade. Unless you were just amazingly love Duffy and Shelley May, I wouldn't stake out for this very long.
Yeah.
It's like maybe 3 minutes long, but this is one of the cavalcades, not a parade, at Disneyland.
Yeah. Next up is Tapestry of Happiness. So it actually projects onto the Small World Castle. I guess you could it's more of a city, honestly.
Yeah.
It's because it's several different historical monuments shoved together.
Yeah, just the Small World facade.
So anyways, the Small World, so Tapestry of Happiness is actually projected onto the Small World facade. It's cute, but not something I would sit around for or be sad if we couldn't make it. There's a separate show in the same area where the characters come out on a track. Basically, I don't know. Like, both the daily show and this show were, not to be a Debbie Downer, kind of boring. Didn't age well.
The Daily Show, sorry, Chad's going into like the daily little show that comes out where the kids come around the little clock and the clock goes off. That's cute. Like, if you're around, it's cute and it's unique to Disneyland. This is also obviously for the 70th unique to Disneyland. It is cute. If you are around Small World around that time, if you've worked your itinerary that you're around, it happens at dusk. It is very cute. I have seen that more crowded times, it does go a few times a night. So it's something that you could potentially catch at a different time. But if you can't work it out or you have a lightning lane elsewhere in the park, like, it's not something that I was like, oh man, if we missed that would be so sad. Like, it'll be okay. It's cute, but it's not just something I would wait around for hours.
For those listeners that is your favorite show, Tapestry of Happiness, I do apologize. That's just my opinion. Feel free to bash me in the comments.
Next up is something that I would not miss. It is back and in full force. So amazing. It's Paint the Night Parade. This is a nighttime parade. Slinky Dog and the aliens on the Toy Story part are fantastic. They were my favorite. This parade runs at 8:45 and 10:45 each night. That is subject to change. So make sure you're checking your app while you're on vacation. You don't want to miss this.
She's not kidding. This one is really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. It runs from Small World down by the castle and through Main Street. So you've got a lot of places to see it. I actually recommend doing it in front of Small World. So this could be a way, if you want to stake out time for Paint the Night, you can go see the Tapestry of Happiness while you're waiting for Paint the Night. But a lot of people are going to be down Main Street in front of the castle. So if you're just wanting to get some good front row views, I would go back to Small World. If you are wanting a reserved viewing for this parade, there is a dining package at the Plaza Inn that you can use. The Plaza Inn package, it's during lunch. It's like, I think it started early, like 10 or 11, all the way to 4 p.m. You can secure a dining reservation that has the label of Paint the Night dining package. So don't just think because you're getting a Plaza Inn reservation that you're getting the Paint the Night. It's a special reservation.
Let me guess, is that special reservation top dollar compared to the reservation?
It's definitely more expensive than the regular food there, yes. But this could be a way, if you're going to Disneyland for one day, or, you're just wanting to focus on 70th anniversary things, this could be a nice way to make sure you have good viewing for that. If you're a local that goes all the time, you may not need that. But if you're someone that's going to Disneyland once or twice in your lifetime, or once or twice, every couple years, then this might be a good splurge to really make sure you get a good viewing spot of that. So Paint the Night, don't miss that one.
Next up is Wondrous Journeys, another one you definitely don't want to miss. There are a plethora of fireworks at this show. This is in Disneyland.
Yes. Not to bash on Disneyland, we're going to get lots of comments today, but Disneyland's castle is so cute and small that sometimes it takes away that wow factor of the projections on the castle. So this is not a new fireworks show, but it is returning. They did add some new, oh goodness, what am I trying to say? New images, new things on the projections. But what makes this fireworks show just stand out is that Baymax and the Blue Fairy actually real life thing. They're not just projections, but they fly around the castle. So that's really cool.
One major thing to note is try to stay on the left side of the castle, facing it, to get a good view of the Blue Fairy Godmother. Baymax actually flies around the castle, which is pretty cool. If you don't know who Baymax is, he's the robot from Big Hero 6. It also has projections that go all the way down the main street, so that's pretty cool. The fireworks are only select nights because of fire codes.
Yeah, they're really close in the city.
Yeah, I think there's some FAA regulations. They only allow fireworks a certain amount of nights per week.
They also, just to pop in, they also are very particular because Disneyland is not as spacious as Disney World. They do have to abide by like weather codes and things like that. Yeah. And so you'll see them testing. And if it's too windy, they don't have fireworks. So a running joke is that Disneyland rarely ever has fireworks. So just know the fireworks part might be canceled some nights, but they try to always do the projections and the music.
So also of note, there is reserved seating for this show as well. But honestly, it's not worth it because of how far away it is. Tomorrowland Terrace actually has reserved seating for this show. But I mean, Tomorrowland Terrace is so far away, you're not going to be able to see any of the projections. All you're going to see is fireworks if you're lucky.
Yeah.
But it does have Wondrous Journey reservation package.
Yeah. So like Chad said, unless you're really just wanting to see the fireworks, the projections don't matter to you. This is just really not the splurge for us, especially with how frequently fireworks get canceled at Disneyland. If you look on Disneyland's app and see Tomorrowland Terrace and where it is in relation to the castle, you're not going to have the best views. So unless you really want a place to sit, and that's more important to you is just sitting down to view the fireworks, then this just isn't really a place I would put my money. Next up is Pixar Pals Playtime Party. So this actually started back up on the 23rd, not on the 17th with everything else. This is Disney's official words about the party. Enjoy interactive games, fun activities, and Pixar photo ops with appearances from your favorite Pixar pals. Plus, relive the magic of Pixar shorts on the big screen. So this is basically the dance party that happens during Pixar Fest. I'm not quite sure where the interactive games, fun activities, all that other stuff comes in. It does look like it says that this runs for an hour and the actual dance party is only for like 15, 20 minutes. So in between that time, they sometimes have some characters come out. They do have some like backdrops, like they have the house from Up and Carl, Mr. Fredricksen and Russell. Like they come out.
The visuals are pretty cool, and some of the characters that come out are well acted and stuff like that. Like Sadness, she's dancing, but she's doing like as
it's so small,
minimal as possible. Yeah. And like drooping over all depressed and stuff.
It is very cute, but this is not like the way that it's being described as new and it's this and that. That's not quite what it is. So just know that going into it, it looks exactly the same as the little dance party from Pixar Fest.
Great show for the kids, not much of a good time for the adults.
Hey, unless you love Pixar or to dance.
So next up, we have Stitch's Interplanetary Beach Party Blast. Join the ultimate galactic dance party at Tomorrowland Terrace, returning for a limited time on most nights. Groove to Stitch favorite tunes and dance along with characters like Goofy, Pluto, Clarabelle, she's the cow, Chip and Dale, and others in this out-of-this-world celebration.
Yeah, this is another recycled dance party that usually pops up every summer. But it does have cute characters that come in. Goofy, Pluto, Clarabelle, Chip and Dale. I've actually seen Clarice pop up over here as well, which is Chip and Dale's friend. So that's a rare character that you could see. Something to note here is that this is not a character meet and greet. So you might get them to take a real quick picture from you, but they're not doing autographs or things like that over here at this dance party. They're just strictly dancing. And this is not new to Disneyland 70th. They typically have something like this each summer. But this is still kind of fun and a good little time filler. There's a lot of downtime in Tomorrowland, so this is a good way to have your kids let off some steam while you have a snack or something like that. So now we're going to hop over the Esplanade to DCA for its 70th entertainment. Something that is back that's really fun is Mickey Mouse Clubhouse Live. This is offered several times throughout the day. This is good for little kids or wanting to get out of the heat midday. It is indoor. Something to note is there are no seats, so just know you're going into it sitting on the floor. This is where the little Disney Junior dance party was, and I think this is a great upgrade. Everyone still loves Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and I think this is a fun little interactive thing for toddlers, for little kids. The dance party is fun, but I think this has more of the thematic element and not just, hey, here's this character, dance with them and sing a song.
This has the interactive element, the Pixar Pals show?
Pixar Pals Playtime Party.
PPPP. Let's just call it that. This has a lot more of an interactive experience than PPPP does.
You've also got Celebrate Happy on Carthay Circle. This happens right at dusk, and there are some projections. This reminds me a lot of what they're doing over at the Small World facade. It's cute, if you happen to be over there, or if you want to try to work it in your schedule, but I wouldn't just stand around for it for too long, but very cute.
Next up is California Adventure. So the Muppets start the show with safety announcements at the beginning, but the actual show is hosted by all of the Inside Out characters, including the ones from the Inside Out 2 group.
Something really cool for this is you actually vote for which one you want to host or be the biggest host. They're all there, but this is something cool if you're in DCA around, it's later in the afternoon. So if you've parked up there, you're spending the whole day there, you get a push notification on your app to vote on who should host World of Color Happiness. So that's really fun.
The bulk of the show is projections on water. It's just pretty cool. There's a lot of lights. It's a really spectacular light show. This is very, very long. You might spring for a dessert party to get a place to sit at. There is a virtual queue for spots to stand.
So something that is different about World of Color than other nighttime shows is that there's a virtual queue for this attraction. You have to get on the virtual queue to get a good spot to stand. There are some other places to stand. So if you don't get a virtual queue, it's not, we can't watch it tonight. It's just these are the good places to stand. You might have obstructed views if you don't get a virtual queue spot. So definitely be on your app at 12 o'clock to make sure you get a good virtual queue.
There is a dessert party for reserved seating for this show. As I said, the show is very long, so this would be a great splurge to take advantage of. I'm sure after a long day, your legs are going to be very tired.
Yeah, so definitely splurge on this one. Next up is the Better Together Pixar Pals Parade. This is a very cute parade. This is a parade. It's pretty long. It's every day at 2:30 and 5. Again, those are general times, but check your app. They might change on your day of adventure. It starts over at the Hyperion Theater, over kind of by the Guardians Mission Breakout over, and then circles over to Monsters attraction. And then it goes all the way down around Avengers Campus and Radiator Springs entrances, not the actual lands, but the entrances, and then ends over at Paradise Gardens Park. There is a dessert party for this as well over at Sonoma Terrace. I probably just mispronounced Sonoma, but it's fine. This is a cute one as well. The food for this one is really cute. It's all themed to Pixar, so something cool to check out there. Now we're going to stop. Those are the main things, like we said, crowd makers, big once or twice a day things shows that happen in each land. Now we're going to get more general, and we're just going to tell you where each thing is. We're not going to stick to land anymore.
So with that, we're going to switch over to specialized attractions. First up is Small World. Coco has joined the club, specifically Miguel and Dante, from what we saw. They are also adding to the song by adding a new specialized verse at the end of the show.
Yeah. So Miguel was very cute, but Dante steals the show. He was darling. And then you definitely want to notice they added the little road that connects the eternal land to the physical land, that flower yellow road. They added that. So that's really cool. Make sure to check that out. Definitely Instagrammable.
Another great show is the Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. Now, they are actually shutting down this show to add another show called Walt Disney: A Magical Life.
Yes, so this is going to be at the Main Street Opera House over at Disneyland Park. I think we forgot to mention that Small World is also over at Disneyland Park. This will be opening on July 17th, so it is not open yet, so we don't have insider information yet, but it's supposed to have a huge cinematic presentation of Walt's journey, and then it culminates in a visit with Walt in his office, which is going to be an animatronic of him. So this is the first time we've ever seen an animatronic of Walt, so that's very cool. Again, this does not open until July 17th. That means we don't know if it's going to be a lightning lane yet. Currently, Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln, because it is a show, does not have a lightning lane, but I anticipate this being very popular once the Walt Disney part opens up, and they're going to need a way to control crowds. So I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes a lightning lane. Just know that Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln is not disappearing. So the way we're kind of hearing is that Walt Disney: A Magical Life will run for a while, and then eventually it'll alternate. So you'll get Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln and Walt Disney: A Magical Life in the same theater, kind of alternating back and forth.
So over at DCA for Toy Story Midway Mania, for the 70th anniversary, they will actually be changing the medallion targets from 500 up to 700, which is pretty cool. Get your high score while you still can.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people that aren't great at this are getting really good scores, because that's 200 more points for every medallion. So just know the points are 700, but the actual medallions say 70 for the 70th. So pretty cool.
So there will be plenty of characters walking around the park. Specifically, the Fab Five are in their nice blue 70th anniversary costumes. Special rare occurrence, though, is Rex from Toy Story will actually be
I'm so excited to meet him. We've never met him before. I'm so excited.
Additionally, Phineas Ferb and their pet Perry the Platypus will be out and about as well. They're a lot taller than I thought they were.
Yeah. The facade they're standing in front of is really cute too. It's got the animated characters behind them. Something to note is they're not meeting together. You can't get Phineas Ferb and Perry in the same photo. They alternate. So Phineas and Ferb will be out, and then Perry will be out. So just know on that. But really cool characters. That's really fun. Next up are activities in Disneyland Park. So I'm sure you're wondering, what in the world does that mean? Are these not all activities? These are specific interactive activities that are drawing lots of crowds. So we're going to kind of give you the way to work around these activities. So the first one, you've probably seen it on Instagram by now. It's the key. It is humongous. It is a little cumbersome to walk around with this humongous key, all in the name of the 70th anniversary. You got to try it out. This key is not cheap. It is $60, and it comes with a commemorative pin. Now, there are 9 total pins, but you don't get to pick which pin you get. It's a mystery. So a lot of people were a little frustrated when this came out, because they were like, well, how do I know I'm going to get all 9? Or what if I only want the one with Millennium Falcon on it? It doesn't work that way. So just know you might want to look on eBay for those pins that you really want. You can also look at eBay right now, because things are already selling as resale, and oh my goodness, so expensive. There's a purse we're going to talk about here in a minute that I really, really wanted. We didn't get, and I was like, you know what? I should have gotten it. Let me go look on eBay, and it's already marked up like $70. It's ridiculous. But back to the key. So in each land, you're going to find this little key lock, and you place your key in the lock to unlock the land, and the key lights up. It sings a song. And then once you've unlocked all the lands, you unlock your pen. So to get the pen, you have to go to all the lands. There is a way to get the pen if you don't go to all the lands. So just know that that is an option. Go see a cast member. If you're like, hey, I'm leaving tomorrow, I'm not going to be able to finish this, they can unlock your key to get you your pen. So just know that. Next up is a spoiler. So if you don't want a spoiler, skip ahead about 30 seconds. So the spoiler here are the locations. So if you want to just know exactly where you're going, here are the locations. The first one is the Disneyland Fire Station over on Main Street. Next is Aladdin's Lamp inside the Adventureland Bazaar in Adventureland. You've got New Orleans Square, Pooh Corner over in Bayou Country, across from Rise of the Resistance in Galaxy's Edge, over at Wilderness Expeditions and Deliver Service Wagon in Frontierland, over by Roger Rabbit's Cartoon Spin in Toontown, over at Fantasy Fair in Fantasyland, and then lastly at Buzz Lightyear Astro Blasters in Tomorrowland. Okay, spoiler over. So that is the key. So just know that is how you can do the key. We're going to talk about the strategy for that in just a minute. The other interactive piece is magic bands. So if you have a magic band, they have some activities you can do. You go scan the 70th kind of touch points and you get like commemorative tickets, or there's some interactive elements that happen. Most of them are tickets, but the one over in Fantasyland is like a windows with interactive things. You get tickets that kind of go back to when Disneyland opened. They're kind of old-timey tickets about that attraction. So those are at Tilly's booth over in Main Street Cinema, Frontierland at Silver Spur Supplies, again that Fantasyland window where the interactive element is there. Skipper Lockers by Jungle Cruise, and Autopia by Tomorrowland. Something else to mention is that there is a special 70th license at Autopia that you can get. That's not included. That is an extra cost, but it is specific to the 70th, which is pretty cool. Now, the thing that you really want to think about, these activities are popular. So if you are going on a trip to Disneyland, just know that these lines get long. If there's one key in each land and there's thousands of people inside this park, then these lines are going to get long. It is not a hidden fact that Disneyland is a locals park. You have a lot of people that go after work. We always tend to find that we can hit every attraction we want in the morning because there's just not that many people there. The same rule applies here. If this is really important to you, you want to go to all the Magic Band stations, you want to go to all the key lock stations, do this in the morning. Try to stack your lightning lanes for the afternoon for the rides and try to get these things done in the morning because the lines I've noticed are just crazy about 12 o'clock to when park closes. So just know that if 70th stuff is important to you, I would recommend doing these first thing in the morning and just knowing that this trip, maybe you don't get all the rides in that you want. We always recommend to clients to, if these things are important, then just focus on the attractions that are specific to Disneyland. And then that will help cut down some of your rides that you want to ride while you're there. But very cool. Definitely drawing in crowds for those activities.
Next up is a story of celebration, the 70th anniversary guided tour at Disneyland Resort. So this is $120 per person plus tax. It's a 2-hour guided tour. It has a lot of historical and visual significant Disneyland moments and will uncover some of the rarely shared stories, both from engineers and cast members.
Yeah, your guide will tell you a lot of those things. They know they've been there a long time.
You'll take a scenic ride aboard the Mark Twain Riverboat and the Disneyland Railroad as well. Enjoy a lightning lane entry for a select attraction. There is reserved viewing areas for Paint the Night, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. That's good to know. Complimentary popcorn. That's a big one for me.
Yes, Chad would be all in the second I said complimentary popcorn.
Complimentary popcorn. That's what would sell.
If you ever need to sell Chad on anything, just talk about popcorn. Little fun fact. Like I said, we're planning a very fast and furious trip next month, or not next month, in July. I wanted to try Typhoon Lagoon H2O Glow, and Chad was kind of on the fence about it. And I was like, you get free popcorn, free water, and free Mickey bars. And he was like, fine, just do it. So popcorn, the way to Chad's heart, popcorn.
There's also a special tour keepsake that you get at the end of the show. So that's pretty cool.
This would be really fun. If Disneyland is not a park you're unfamiliar with, you're not going once in a lifetime, you go regularly, this would be a really fun tour to do. Just the reserve viewing for the Paint the Night. I have heard that the Lightning Lane entry is for Small World, but the reason that they aren't saying that is that could change. So just know that. But it's very cool. If you are a Disneyland person, you want to get some insider access, this would be a really fun tour to take.
So there are actually pretty great decorations everywhere. The castle is beautiful, and there's also a huge structure, I'm going to butcher this, Esplanade,
The Esplanade, the like
Esplanade.
walkway between the two parks.
Gotcha. Okay. Really cool. It has spires for all 5 original lands: Frontierland, Fantasyland, Tomorrowland, Main Street USA, and the Adventureland.
Yes.
So each of these towers is actually themed to each land, which is pretty cool. Another great decoration at the front of the park is the Mickey head floral arrangement. Right when you scan in, it is an absolute showstopper. You'll want to get a photo as quick as you can. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be crowding around it. So when you first see it, when you walk in, don't say, "Oh, I'll get it." There's a lot of crowds around it. I'll get a picture with it later. No, you're not going to find good lighting unless you're lucky.
You'll also be really sweaty and gross at the end of the day.
Yeah. So
take it fresh. Take it fresh. This goes a lot along with when we said the activities. You want to do those early in the day. You want to get these pictures early in the day too. If you are a rope dropper, you can get in lines. And even if they look long, I promise you they are going to be longer as the day goes on. So hop in that line, get that photo. You're going to get home. You're going to be like, "Oh, we never got that photo." Like, just get it. You're going to want these photos. They're beautiful floral arrangements and structures. Next up is merchandise. We're not going to go through this a lot. There are a lot of YouTubers we watch that go through these merchandise things with specific prices, where to find them. So definitely look on YouTube for that information. But we're going to go through the things we think are going to be very popular. First up is a bubble wand with exchangeable heads. So they've got Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, and Stitch. I guess Stitch is for the movie. I don't know. But it's just a traditional bubble wand, but you can put these heads on there and kind of customize it a little bit. Very cute. We've already got our eyes on a Donald one because I am a Donald lover, and some other ones as well. Very cute. The bags, like I mentioned earlier, the bags are on fire. They are really cool bags. So you've got a lug bag that has that traditional, like all the colors of Disneyland 70th are like jewel tones. So magenta, like a darker pink, teals, golds. And this bag is reminiscent of those colors and actually has like a Mickey head on it. It's very cute. They've also got some traditional, like bringing back some retro Disneyland fonts and pictures. And that is that bag in the middle with the white and blue. We're looking at some of the merchandise while we're talking. That bag right there was what I wanted to buy, should have bought, and now is astronomical on Etsy. So if I have any listeners that are going to Disneyland, shoot me a message. And if you can buy me that bag, I will pay you back because I am not paying eBay prices. And then you've got some Dooney and Burks that have some special 70th designs as well. They do have a lot of cups. The most popular cup right now is the Corksicle. It's got Mickey on one side and then that Disneyland 70th logo on the back. I also have to get that. So maybe we're going to make another trip down to Disneyland. But merchandise, there's a lot to be found. A lot of shirts, a lot of bags, plushies. Like, you're going to find some Disneyland merch. It's not going to be hard to find unless you go the last day and they've sold everything, but not going to be hard. Next up is my favorite. Food. So this section will be pretty quick. This is just kind of a general overview of some key things that we thought important to bring up. There is so much food to be had and to be consumed. So we mentioned that there is so much food here for the 70th, a lot of snacks, a lot of drinks. We could do an entire episode on that, and we might. You can also check our social media. We've been going through top recommendations, but for this podcast, we're just going to go through table service options. So Chad's just going to go through the big table service option that was introduced for the 70th. We are not going through snacks. If that makes you angry, leave us a comment, and maybe we'll do a episode just for snacks, but we are doing some stuff over on our socials for snacks because those are more visual. You want to see the snacks. Just a little heads up on that. So of note, there is Donald's Tale of Adventure dinner buffet at the Storytellers Cafe. This is a good invitation to swap adventure stories over a bountiful campfire-style barbecue buffet featuring tasty dishes and your favorite Disney characters. Meet Donald, Daisy, Clarabelle, Goofy, and Pluto, dressed in their new explorer outfits, and enjoy an all-new character dining experience. Make sure to get your reservation 60 days prior to your trip. 6 a.m. Western time is when those reservation options open up. And this is over in the Grand Californian. So the beautiful words that Chad just read is straight from Disney's mouth. You can find this at the Grand Californian. It is dinner. So dinner. Don't get confused with Mickey's Tales of Adventure. buffet that's breakfast. So they really were very creative here, and they just switched breakfast and dinner and Mickey and Donald. So that is all the 70th information we have for you currently. If more stuff comes out, make sure to check our socials. We're trying to keep our runtime a little shorter. We've heard from viewers that the 30 to 40 minute time range is perfect. So we didn't go through the snacks like we said. And then we also cut out the news segments just so that way we're staying current and on topic of what we're talking about. But please check our socials. We always put breaking news on there. And then anything that we, talked about at our podcast that people are asking questions about, we try to answer those questions on socials. You can find us. We're mostly on TikTok and Instagram is where you'll find us the most. We do have our Instagram posts pushed over to our Facebook, but we don't do as much on Facebook. You can also obviously find us on YouTube. We do vlogs and information there. But that's all we're going to do today. Our daughter is screaming for some cinnamon rolls, so we are going to head over and start making some cinnamon rolls. Thanks for joining us on Ports and Palaces. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave a review if you enjoyed today's episode. We have heard from a lot of you that you are enjoying our show. Please let us know through a review and rating us. That's how we help our show grow. So we want to reach more people. We want to interact with people that love Disneyland, that love Disney, Universal, and World Caribbean.
How we become more searchable.
Yes. So
through metrics.
If you are listening to us and you're loving us, please take that 2 seconds to rate us and leave us a quick review. We plan to start doing those on air and reading those out. If you are planning to visit Disneyland during this 70th celebration, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Please make sure to share it with your travel buddies and make sure they have this info. It's everything they need to know in one quick piece. Until next week, I'm Kirstyn.
And I am Chad.
Happy travels from all your ports and palaces.
This podcast is sponsored by Ports and Palaces Vacations. Whether you are wanting to check out a new port along a cruise line or see the palaces of Disney and Universal, our travel advisors make your dream trip a reality. Your next trip is just a click away.